I have a new video for you guys because we need to talk about Acacia Kersey. This 23-year-old mother of 3 is being called out for using her children to promote her sponsors. This might not sound like the worst thing to happen, but the products that she is promoting are adult toys. Literally, this woman is using her children to promote vibrators. This is so wrong, but Acacia doesn't seem to understand why. So let's get into it. If you guys don't know who Acacia Kersey is, no worries. I will give you a quick rundown. Like I said, she's a 23-year-old mother of 3. She is married to her husband, but she's the influencer. She has over 850,000 subscribers on her YouTube channel, where she doesn't post too often. Actually, her latest video is 2 months old. But she's very active on her Instagram page, where she has 2 million followers. You guys will see throughout this video that most of the crap that Acacia gets herself into involves her Instagram, where she's posting things she shouldn't have, like using her kids to promote a sponsored post with adult toys. But before we get into that, I do want to give a quick shout out to OT and their Discord. Thank you, Cowboy Angel and the Acacia Guru Gossip Discord for helping me make this video and holding Acacia accountable. I believe I was actually kicked out from that Discord, but no hard feelings. Let's go ahead and talk about why Acacia is so wrong for what she's doing to her children and the way that she speaks about her children. Because actually, a problem came up this past weekend where someone was trying to look up Acacia's OnlyFans. Like a lot of influencers, Acacia Kersey also has an OnlyFans account. Somebody actually recently exposed that all of her pictures on her OnlyFans have actually been face-tuned, which is an app on your iPhone or your Android where you can really alter your body and your look. When you save a photo from that app, it has the name Facetune in the file name, and as you guys can see, all of her images of herself have been edited, which it leaves a bad taste in my mouth, because I feel like if you're buying an OnlyFans, like, you want to see that exclusive content. You're not trying to see how she altered her waist or, changed her body or whatever. But anyways, some people decided to look up her OnlyFans page, but when they did, they came across a very disturbing post involving Acacia's daughter, Rosie. Rosie is actually Acacia's second daughter, and she has a syndrome called Alagille syndrome. It causes issues with the baby's heart, their kidneys, or their liver. And of course, nobody wants Rosie to, struggle with this syndrome, but her mother, Acacia Kersey, could do a better job at taking care of her. We'll talk about that in a second. So somebody clicked one of those links and they found out that Rosie, Acacia's young daughter, was featured on an adult website, a POR, you know what I'm talking about, like with the stars and stuff, everyone who's 18 plus. Well, freaking baby Rosie is featured on that website, and it's a newborn video that Acacia posted before on her channel. This is why I truly don't like family channels, because you are exploiting your children, even if you don't think you are, because creepers out there will take their content, put it onto an adult website, and that video literally said it had what? How many views? It claims it has almost 700,000 views on this adult website, which is disgusting. Like, does the original video even have that many views? It's so foul to think that men or weirdos are creeping on little poor Rosie, and her mother Acacia is supplying the content. Anyways, if you guys have been following my channel for some time, you would know that I hate family channels, because they are exploiting their children. They're putting them in compromising situations that they cannot consent or comprehend. Well, somebody reached out to Acacia because they wanted to let her know that her daughter was being featured on an adult website, and guess how she replied? They brought up the website to her, and she told them the video was of a fully clothed newborn. F off, honestly. So she's telling concerned fans to F off because they are worried that her children are being, viewed online by creepers. And she's responsible for this, because not only does she release videos online, whether the baby is clothed or not, but sometimes she posts content where they aren't clothed, and that's not okay. This OT account, Colorful Acacia, actually reached out to Acacia Kersey to voice their concerns about this situation. It's crazy to see how Acacia approaches this situation because she's really just shifting the blame onto everyone else and those creepers out there, which of course they are wrong because they see content of children and they're like, oh yeah, like this would do great on an adult website. But she's also just acting like she has no wrong part in this, which she does. She wrote, a child's life should not be catered to the idea of creeps, which I totally get that. Like, you're not trying to raise your child with the idea that they're always being creeped on, but when they're being exploited on the internet, they are always being creeped on, and a child's life isn't typically exploited online, so this isn't a typical situation. She also said that she does her best to censor their body, which is already insane. It's against her strong belief of how the world, looks at children inappropriately. I mean, I just don't understand how she's over here claiming that she's trying her best to censor her children when she's done quite the opposite. I wanted to share this meme because it's exactly what's going on here. You message Acacia Kersey to let her know that her children are on adult websites, but then Acacia sticks up for those creeps and not her own children. I don't know, maybe it's because it's Rosie on the adult website, that's why she's acting different, because you guys know that she definitely favors her older daughter, Brinley, which is so wrong for a mother, but it's so incredibly clear from Acacia that she favors one daughter over another one. And maybe it's because Rosie has her syndrome and her disability and it takes more time to, take care of her. But I don't even think that Acacia spends that extra time. We've actually talked before on my channel about Acacia and Rosie because I feel like Rosie has been treated so poorly by her own mother, and Acacia just gets away with it every single time. So let's take a walk down memory lane. You guys can find this video. It's 4 minutes of Acacia mistreating her daughter Rosie, and she opens up this video by describing her daughter Rosie as the forgotten baby, the forgotten child, which is already very concerning.
So we call this baby the forgotten baby.
Oh, okay, so this is their daughter, Brinley, and when Brinley was born, they did a newborn photo shoot, but Rosie didn't get the same attention as Brinley because Rosie wasn't as cute, even though she's the cutest baby ever, because of her syndrome. So here you guys can see that Brinley's got a wonderful photo shoot, and people were asking Acacia, like, what's going on with, Rosie's photo shoot? And she actually replied and said, we haven't taken Rosie's photos yet because we're waiting for her to get a little more chunky before they did some, which, again, she's got this syndrome, which is affecting her body and her weight, so, not a great excuse, especially when they actually did take a photo of Rosie when she was born, but they decided not to hang it or to post it around because, for whatever reason. There's their other daughter, hung up on the wall, but Rosie didn't get the same treatment. Was it because of her syndrome? I don't know. But here we're getting into some of the, we're getting into some of the worst of the worst. So you guys may or may not know that Rosie has also had issues with her hair being brushed. I feel so dumb bringing this up, but it's something so basic that Acacia just cannot take care of. Brushing her own daughter's hair, and you guys will see that Rosie's hair is constantly messy while her sister's is taken care of. Aww. Her hair's always kind of, oh, and look, her older sister's got her hair brushed, but Rosie's got long, unkept nails, unkept hair, and a lot of times she's left on the ground. Like, I'm not even trying to be dramatic with this. Acacia will leave her on the ground. It is not okay for a young child like Rosie to be alone on the ground, unsupervised in these video clips and in these photo clips. She's constantly seen away from the family in another room or something on the floor by herself. You guys may remember this clip where Acacia was literally playing games while Rosie was crying on the floor as the dog was attacking her, and she's just like, oh yeah, Rosie is just on the ground crying.
I hear Rosie crying.
I feel like if I heard my child crying, I would be jumping up and running.
This wants you to back up really bad.
Oh, I have to go help Rosie. I hear her crying.
She waited way too long to go help Rosie. I feel like if you heard your baby crying, you would jump up and go and rescue them. But then she took her sweet time and came back and told everyone, oh, the dog was bothering her. Well, maybe the baby shouldn't be on the ground where the dog can just bother the child. If you guys want to go watch the rest of that video, we've actually reacted to it before on my channel, and I will link it below because you guys need to understand how Rosie has been put into a compromising situation by her own mother. But actually, while Acacia was talking to one of our friends from OT, she asked them, like, why do people think that Rosie isn't taken care of? That must be something that's really bothering Acacia because she's constantly called out for it, and it seems like she just cannot get it right. Actually, in these messages, she defended leaving Rosie on the ground. She wrote, it feels silly discussing this next point again because I do feel like I've explained it a lot, but I don't mind reiterating that the best place for Rosie is always and will always be the floor until she walks or is put into a designed device for her. She claims that Rosie plays in bouncers, playwalkers, bumbos, and high chairs, but she will always end up on the floor as soon as she's done playing because that's the most important thing for her. I'm not a medical expert, so I'm not going to try to combat her claims that the best thing for Rosie is the floor, but I just feel like no matter what syndrome, no matter what disability, no matter what, I don't think a child should be isolated on the floor at any point. I feel like that's going to mess with their psyche. But during Acacia's conversations with one of those OT accounts, she did acknowledge that she has overexploited her children. She wants to reiterate that she has made some mistakes. She has made some missteps in Rosie's privacy. She has posted her private moments online, posted intimate photos from the hospital, and has shared more information about her than she feels comfortable with. And if she can go back, she would do things differently. Maybe she would do things differently, but I'm not truly buying it. Part of me thinks that she was only messaging this account on Twitter to try to slow down all of the hate that she was getting for what she posted about, Rosie on that adult website. But I want to remind you guys that she has made open promises like this before, that she doesn't want to exploit her children anymore. You guys may remember this Instagram post where she said, I've come to the conclusion that I will not be making videos directly about my children anymore. She was trying to make it more about herself and shifting it off of her kids, which is probably great because family channels aren't cool. In her post, it seems like she was going to make her content more about herself, less about Rosie and her medical condition and everything else. And even though she claims she was going to slightly update us when major things happen, she's continued to exploit them online and nothing really changed. Like, I honestly feel like this one day Acacia woke up, she understood that family channels are bad, she told everyone she's not going to be a family channel anymore, and then she continued to do family channel things. So nothing changed. You guys may remember when Acacia posted that, I actually praised her on my YouTube channel because when people do well, I give them a thumbs up, but she really hasn't done anything better, and it's actually embarrassing for me to look back on that video because what was I defending? Because Acacia has made it so much worse. So let's talk about the adult toy situation. So when Acacia does a sponsored post, she actually likes to do a little, preview, like an incoming to promote that sponsored content. And she actually took a picture of her child in the stroller, and she wrote that she's going to be sharing more about self-intimacy and where to start. Kind of bizarre to talk about self-intimacy and take a picture of a young baby. And it seems like her daughter Brenly was also included in that video, which again promoting an ad that's going to include adult content. In the following post, she shared a photo of herself and wrote, alright, today we're going to talk about self-exploration and getting to know your body through doing things that I'm going to have to block out from YouTube. So people were really offended that she used her children to promote an Instagram ad that was coming on her page, especially because the ad was geared towards adults and adult toys. We were talking about how her daughter was literally featured on an adult website and she was like, F you to everyone. Well, now she's using her own daughter to feature adult content and toys. I think this is extremely wrong and inappropriate that she would use her kids to start getting everybody ready and rallied for a toy that's used for adults. It's again using your children for content and exploiting them because you're not interesting enough to do it yourself. So that's when everything blew up because people were so mad, and she started messaging people on Twitter trying to save herself. And even though she took accountability and provided excuses for everything, I truly don't think that she believes that she did anything wrong at all. She was just trying to save face because people like me were starting to pay attention. Dad's Challenge podcast starting to pay attention, and she knows that what she's doing is really wrong. So isn't it convenient that Twitter decides to forgive Acacia right before she's about to do another sponsored post? So she did a post about that toy which she used her children to promote. Then the next day, or like a day after, she posted another sponsored post, and before, putting the post out there, she did a little promo, and she decided not to exploit her children this time. She actually wrote in the story, sharing a short little ad on the next slide. I need to make an ad intro for my more mature content, but until then, here's your little ad incoming warning. I don't really know why she needs to do this whole ad incoming warning or whatever, but at least she acknowledges that she probably shouldn't use her children when promoting mature content. You guys may remember that just a few months ago that Acacia was actually contacted by a sponsor she was doing an ad for, and they asked her to remove the ad because they didn't want her to be associated with their brand after figuring out all the offensive things she has said in the past. You guys may remember she said some really offensive things regarding race, which we have talked about before on my channel. It is so incredibly offensive. I'm not going to repeat anything here. So sponsors have been very iffy for her, and I feel like by messaging this person back on Twitter, she was trying to save herself because she knew that she's got another sponsored post coming, and it's also adult oriented. So the ad she posted is again for mature audiences only, and pretty much it's like a supplement or a pill you take to make you want to do it. Like how adults do it. Well, that's what the pill's for. It's supposed to make you super ready for it, I guess. Oh, it's so weird. But yeah, she's being sponsored for that for whatever reason. I mean, she is 23 with 3 kids, so maybe it makes sense that she's doing all of these adult things, but she shouldn't use her children to promote it. And I'm glad that she didn't use her kids for this one, but a little bit too late by using the toy on the other one. I really feel like Acacia does know what she's doing here by trying to switch up with the ads and make friends with some of these OT accounts. But keep in mind, guys, that Acacia has a history of this, and I don't think that she's truly ever going to stop exploiting her children. Here's a throwback ad that she posted on her page, which she deleted, where she included a photo of her baby having no clothes on, which again, feeding into those creepers out here that she really doesn't care about in the beginning. But remember almost 700,000 views on that one video of Rosie? How could you not be offended or grossed out as a mother? But she must not be, because she creates content just like this for those weirdos out there in the world to watch and to screenshot and post on adult websites and everything and above. So do I think Acacia is sorry for using her children to promote an adult toy? I think she's sorry that people called her out for it. I also don't think that she's that concerned seeing Rosie on an adult website. I don't know if she's tried to go and get it removed or something like that, but if that was my baby over here and we've got 700,000 views of creepers on the internet trying to watch it, there would be some lawyers or something going on. But I appreciate everyone who has helped me figure out this video. There are so many people on OT holding Acacia accountable, and I'm really glad that there is this community because she's gotten away with so much for so long, and it's we just ignore that she's an awful mother and that Rosie deserves better. So thank you guys for joining me in this video. I hope you guys enjoyed. It was all over the place, but that's Acacia Kersey for you guys. So leave a comment below what you think, and I will see you in a new video soon. Bye, guys.